What if the first sign of dementia was a strange apology? Not confusion, not memory loss, just a sudden, haunting phrase. Thousands of seniors say things like this every day, and most families miss the warning. Because it doesn't look like dementia, it sounds like guilt, sadness, even good manners. But research shows these odd apologies can be early signs the brain is starting to break down. In this video, you'll discover 7 weird apologies that often appear years before diagnosis. If someone you love is saying these exact words over and over, don't brush it off. Each story you're about to hear comes from real-life caregiver reports, quiet moments that felt small at the time, until the diagnosis made everything clear. Number 1. I'm sorry for existing. 3 years before her dementia diagnosis, 73-year-old Irene began whispering the same phrase. After the smallest things, she'd say it when someone held the elevator, when a cashier handed her change, or when her daughter gently told her, "You didn't do anything wrong." It wasn't just once, it became daily. No one knew how to respond, because what do you say when your mother starts apologizing for being alive? Then, over time, her forgetfulness set in. And when her son caught her talking to the dog, thinking it was her deceased brother, he realized it was time to seek help. Experts confirm that apologies tied to one's own existence are often early signs of declining emotional processing in the brain. As dementia begins, especially in frontal or temporal regions, the person may experience a distorted sense of self-worth, identity, or even purpose. Instead of expressing confusion, they internalize it, often in the form of guilt or feeling like a burden. These aren't just emotional shifts, they're neurological ones, signaling the brain is losing its ability to accurately process social and emotional cues. Number 2. Sorry, my brain's just not working today. 2 years before his diagnosis, 74-year-old Walter began tossing out this phrase almost every day. It started after small mistakes, forgetting his glasses, leaving the stove on, misplacing the mail. "Sorry, my brain's just not working today," he'd sometimes chuckle. His family thought it was harmless. But then the confusion set in. One day, he got lost driving home from a store that was just 3 minutes away. That was the moment his wife knew something was wrong, and the diagnosis confirmed it. Studies show that when a senior says things like this repeatedly, it can be a sign that they're aware, on some level, that their mind isn't working the way it used to. But instead of panic, they mask it with humor. This kind of casual self-blame often shows up before anyone else notices something is wrong. It reflects early disruptions in executive function, the part of the brain that handles decision-making, memory, and mental flexibility, all of which slowly decline in dementia's first stages. Number 3. Sorry, I forgot again. I'm such an idiot. 4 years before her diagnosis, 72-year-old Janice began snapping at herself over small mistakes. If she forgot her grocery list, misread the microwave timer, or lost her glasses, she'd mutter, "I'm such an idiot," then apologize to whoever was nearby, even strangers. Her family thought she was just being hard on herself. But soon, she began skipping steps in everyday tasks and calling household items by the wrong names. Then one morning, she called her son in tears, unable to remember how to make coffee, even though it had been part of her daily routine for over 40 years. A clinical study linked repetitive, self-insulting apologies to early cognitive changes in the frontal and temporal lobes, areas that manage working memory, emotional control, and self-monitoring. In early dementia, especially among women, these brain regions may weaken before obvious memory loss sets in. As a result, the person senses something is wrong but can't articulate it, so they default to blaming themselves. This harsh self-talk isn't just emotional, it's often a neurological coping mechanism, reflecting deeper confusion beneath the surface. If someone you love is apologizing like this often, don't brush it off. These aren't just random phrases. They're subtle signals that the brain may already be struggling. Families often miss these signs until it's too late, but you don't have to. Number 4. I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. 3 years before his diagnosis, 76-year-old Harold started saying this phrase every time he got flustered. When he forgot how to unlock the front gate, when he lost track of what day it was, or when he burned dinner for the second time in a week, he'd pause, look defeated, and whisper, "I don't know what's wrong with me." His wife tried to reassure him, but his confusion kept growing. One night, he wandered outside in his pajamas, convinced it was morning and looking for the newspaper. That's when she knew it was more than stress. A major study uncovered that vague apologies like this, especially when paired with confusion, often mark the earliest stage of cognitive disorientation. As dementia begins, the brain loses its grip on time, sequence, and context. Seniors often feel something is wrong before they can describe it. So instead of saying, "I'm confused," they say things like, "I don't know what's wrong with me." It's not just frustration. It's an emotional warning triggered by a brain already starting to slip. Number 5. Sorry, I thought we already talked about this. 2 years before her dementia diagnosis, 77-year-old Claudine started saying this line more and more. Her son would bring up a dinner plan or a doctor's visit, and Claudine would insist they'd already discussed it, but they hadn't. At first, it felt like simple forgetfulness. But soon she began missing entire conversations, repeating stories and asking questions she'd just been answered. The day she asked what year it was, 3 times in one afternoon, her family scheduled the neurological exam. Research suggests that apologies like this often reflect early memory distortion, where the brain begins misplacing when and how information was received. It's called source confusion, and it's common in early dementia. The person may still feel confident they remember things clearly, but their recall is scrambled, and their quiet apologies are often the only sign something's deeply wrong. Number 6. Sorry for talking so much. I'll shut up. 3 years before his diagnosis, 73-year-old Melvin started apologizing for speaking, even when no one minded. He'd tell a quick story at dinner, then suddenly mutter, "Sorry, I'll shut up now." His family thought he was just being polite, but soon he began forgetting faces and repeating the same questions. Then things got strange. He apologized to the TV for interrupting a game show, almost in tears. Eventually, he went silent at family gatherings, and that's when his wife scheduled the evaluation. A new analysis found that early dementia can disrupt the brain's ability to read social cues, making seniors feel like they've said something wrong, even when they haven't. This social misfiring causes inappropriate guilt, awkward silence, or sudden withdrawal. When someone begins apologizing for simply participating in conversation, it may not be modesty. It could be a subtle sign of neurological confusion. Number 7. Sorry, I shouldn't be here. 5 years before her diagnosis, 76-year-old Dolores began saying this out loud in places she'd known her whole life. Her church, her friend's home, even her own kitchen. "Sorry, I shouldn't be here," she'd whisper, as if she'd walked in by mistake. Her family thought she was just feeling overwhelmed, maybe tired. But then she started mistaking relatives for strangers. One afternoon, she called her neighbor by her childhood teacher's name and apologized for showing up uninvited. That's when her daughter realized something deeper was going wrong. Findings confirmed that apologies tied to presence or place often reflect early signs of spatial disorientation, a key feature in many types of dementia. As the brain begins losing its internal map, familiar environments feel foreign, and the person may feel like an outsider in their own life. Their apology isn't just politeness, it's confusion wrapped in shame. If someone you love is saying these kinds of apologies over and over, don't ignore it. The words might seem small, but they could be the brain's first quiet warning that something deeper is changing fast. The earlier you see it, the more you can do.
And there you have it. What are your thoughts? Next, dive into this video for more essential tips to transform your health and help you thrive. You're going to love it. Thanks for watching Healthy End, and we'll see you there.